Today in Cannabis News, the Florida State Agriculture Commissioner calls out the Department of Health for discriminatory medical cannabis licensing regimens. The governor of New Jersey expresses open-mindedness to adding home cultivation provisions to the state's cannabis legalization legislation. And a panel of South Dakota state legislators pass a bill to allow for recreational cannabis legalization. It's Friday, October 29th, and this is your Trichomes Morning Buzz.
Broadcasting live from the Trichomes.com studios in Southern California. It's time for your Morning Buzz. We bring you late-breaking news that keeps you up to date with what's happening in the cannabis industry.
First up, the state's Department of Health's requirements for qualifying for medical cannabis permits, according to Florida Agriculture Commissioner Nikki Fried, are racially discriminating. Candidates seeking medical marijuana treatment center permits, who are also participants of the Pigford v. Glickman class action suit, are covered under an urgent regulation issued by the Department of Health. That action led to $1.25 billion in compensation for Black cannabis cultivators who were discriminatorily denied financing from the U.S. Department of Agriculture. Said participants seeking MMTC licensure will be required to pay a $146,000 application cost, which is over 2 times the $60,830 incurred by other cultivators. Fried, at a media briefing, asserted that the charge must be reduced, which is what we have seen in other states across the country, which have recognized that we have a social justice situation across the country and tried to do better. Fried adds she's already contacted the state attorney general asking for an examination into if the emergency rule was crafted purposefully with racial bias.
Next up, after state voters passed cannabis legalization measures last November, legislators are still working to execute the policy reform. And home growing is presently prohibited within the law approved by New Jersey Governor Phil Murphy previously this year. However, Governor Murphy indicates he's open-minded to considering adjusting the law to allow individuals to grow cannabis for private consumption in a recent local news interview. That's not to say that I think we're not going to have a really good, smart regimen, said Murphy, noting that authorities are putting a world-class industry together. I'm really impressed by it. Again, equity is right at the center of it, Murphy added, but there's a lot of legitimate interest in allowing, in some form or fashion, home grow. And I would like to say I'd be open-minded to that discussion. It's worth noting that there are currently residential cultivation proposals submitted to the state legislature for recreational and medical cannabis, though neither have progressed.
Last up, this week, a panel of South Dakota state legislators approved an outline proposal for legalizing recreational cannabis. The move occurs as organizers gather support for a different legislative plan that they aim to place on the voter ballot next year. It will now be presented to the executive board before being officially submitted to the whole state legislature for consideration in 2022. Adults 21 years or older would be permitted to buy and carry a maximum of an ounce of cannabis within the proposal approved by the panel. Differing from the legalization measures passed by state voters last year, a previous iteration of the proposal approved by a subpanel last week excluded a home growing provision, and legislators denied an amendment to include individual growing privileges this week. Additionally, within a recently passed amendment, cannabis production for approved retail operations would only be able to be done indoors.
That was today's Buzz. Thanks for listening. For more cannabis news and insights from industry professionals and a place to discuss these stories and others, visit Trichomes.com.
And be sure to catch up with all of our other cannabis industry-related podcasts like Hash It Out, Tech and Cannabis, or the International Cannabis Conversation, wherever you get your podcasts. For Trichomes.com, I'm RJ Balde.
And I'm Devin Liao. Have a great day.